situation. Coming to the topic directly, that Pandita Ramabai is one of the notable women pioneer in India's resistance. So why we should remember Pandita Ramabai? It is because Indian society is still a casteist society. Even though we talk against the caste in the public, but caste is a mentality, caste is an ideology, it is still there, and I think that it will continue as well. And the second point why we should remember Pandita Ramabai, it is because of the issues of conversion. In some state government, you will find Anti-Conversion Act, right? A society which do not accept conversion, in that society, remembering Pandita Ramabai or critically engaging with Pandita Ramabai is the must. To Uma Chakravarti, Pandita Ramabai, she has crossed two Lakshman Rekha. First, being the Brahmin, she married to a Dalit and thereby mounted a scathing critic of Brahminical society. While going into the discourse on Ramabai, I found that Ramabai was very much concerned about the gender issue than caste issue. That doesn't mean that Ramabai has not dealt with the caste issue, but gender issue it was very much concern of Pandita Ramabai. To her, gender issue had become the preoccupation of upper caste women, whose women were mostly oppressed. I mean, to Pandita Ramabai, it is the upper caste women in comparison to the lower caste women, they were more oppressed. And in comparison to, I am repeating, in comparison to the upper caste women, lower caste women were much better position. At least they had freedom, especially from the gender sense. So maybe that was one of the reason Pandita Ramabai, after the death of her brother earlier, her sisters and parents, they were died. So Pandita Ramabai married to a Dalit person who was part of the Brahmo Samaj. Now, as a Brahmin, she understood that ancient Hindu literatures, mainly Upanishad, Vedas, and Manusmriti, she has gone through it, and these literature gives inferior status to the woman, and thereby promotes patriarchal values in society. And she wanted education for women so as to enable them to reject the Brahminical society and understand the deception of sacred literature. But such kind of schools, I mean schools where the women can get the education, such kind of schools were very much rare in that society at that time. Only few schools were available, and these schools were run by the Christian missionaries. As a result, in that society, higher caste Hindu women for whom Pandita Ramabai was fighting for, these women were preferred to death than going to such a missionary school, because they had the fear that they may lose their caste identity. Moreover, Pandita Ramabai had requested the government, the British government at the time, to bring different policies for the upliftment of women. So this is the first Lakshman Rekha as per Uma Chakravarti. The second Lakshman Rekha is that as a high caste Hindu widow, Pandita opted to become Christian, betraying her religion and thereby her nation in the eyes of 19th century Hindu society. This was the perception of Hindu society. As per Uma Chakravarti, it is not the perception of Uma Chakravarti. And some viewed Pandita Ramabai's conversion as her choice based on her conviction and had no political dimension, unlike Ambedkar. If you compare the conversion of Ambedkar to Buddhism and conversion of Pandita Ramabai to Christianity, it is accepted by the few intellectuals that while Ambedkar's conversion was political in nature, but Ramabai's conversion to Christianity, it was not political. In my paper, I think that there is a political dimension in Ramabai's conversion to Christianity. It is noteworthy to mention that it is during her stay in Britain she means Pandita Ramabai had converted into Christianity. As pointed out by Mira Koshambi, Pandita's conversion comes at a juncture where she had received immense spiritual support and aid from the Christian community in Britain and later from America. The dominance of Hindu patriarchal society were also exposed in front of her already. Now, when Ramabai built the Sarada Sadan in Pune after collecting the funds from the Britain and America, it was Indian Christian community they were opposed to Sadan's policy of religious neutrality. So the Sarada Sadan propounded by Pandita Ramabai, it was following the principles of religious neutrality. But Indian Christians, they were critical about that Sarada Bhavan. Ultimately, conversion took place in good number. Hindu widows began reading the Bible, and the press that time, the then press began calling the Sadan as a window mission house. So hence, I found it would be unfair to say that there was no political dimension to Ramabai's conversion to Christianity. Yes, it can be said that Pandita was not interested in politics in her conversion, but politics was interested in her action. So this is all about why we should remember Pandita Ramabai in today why we should remember. So thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Himanshu.